I've been given a lot of thought to the future of this channel lately, and I realised that not so long ago I made a video about perfectionism and how it can get in the way and stop us from doing anything. The enemy of good is perfect, or whatever the expression is. And I realised I kind of need to take my own advice, because I'm enjoying making these videos. I'm enjoying growing this channel, and I'm enjoying the audience that is coming with that, and the community that's being built. It's such a great thing. But I'm kind of getting in my own way a little bit, because I'm setting up barriers that don't exist. A guy passing by with about 5 Christmas trees poking out of his car. Anyway, I'm getting in my own way, and I keep telling myself that I don't have the time to create these high production value videos, which I would love to do, because somehow I feel like the more time I put into making a video look good, the more value it's going to have to you. And when I actually look back at my channel, the one video that has the most amount of views was the first ever video I posted, and that was me talking about my experience with loneliness. And that wasn't recorded on some fancy camera. I didn't have a script. There wasn't a list of locations that I had to shoot at. I was literally just talking to the camera about something that really resonated with people. And to this day, that video is still growing and is being seen by more and more people. And I'm kind of humbled by the response that I got from that, because I'd never expected it to be anything like that. I never expected many people to see it. And now I've realised that there are a lot of other people on this platform, on YouTube, that are making videos similar to that, because they know that it gets a lot of views. And I think it will come back to bite them in the arse, because maybe they're not being 100% genuine. And if you're just doing something like that for the views, then I think people know. People can pick up on authenticity. Anyway, I'm going on a bit of a tangent there, but the point being that if I'm looking at the analytics of my channel, some of the videos that I put the most amount of time in actually have the lowest amount of views. And I think this is a big problem, because I think when I think too much, I lose sight of what I'm trying to do. What is the purpose of the video that I'm trying to make? And so I think what I'm going to do from here on is just create more regular content. And I want it to be in this format. I want it to be raw, to be as minimally edited as possible, and to just talk about what's going on a day-to-day basis, because I do have a lot of stuff that I want to share and a lot of insights, and I have this list that I've set up on my phone, and I think, right, when I've got time, I'm going to make a video on that. And this list just continues to grow, and none of these videos are being made. And really the only important thing is that I get in front of a camera and talk at this stage. You know, there may be a time in the future where I can put more effort into higher production videos, but right now, with everything that I have going on, I just don't have the time to create these really nice cinematic videos. I just don't have the time for it. And frankly, I think it's not what people want. And I might be completely wrong there. Like, as always, let me know in the comments, because what you say in those comments helps guide me in the future of this channel. But the feedback that I've got mostly from people is that, firstly, they don't want to hear me give advice to them necessarily. They just want to hear me sharing my experiences about what has and hasn't worked for me. And secondly, that they don't need this like high production stuff. They just want this raw, unedited format where I'm just talking to you like you're here with me, like it's, I don't know. another reason I think that first video took off massively was just because loneliness is obviously a huge topic for a lot of people, and if we look at, if you had a graph with one side being just date from like, I don't know, the 1940s, like pre-technology to now, and on the other axis was people's loneliness, then there would be, I think, a direct correlation between the amount of technology and connection we have, or ability to connect, and people's subjective feelings of loneliness, because it is subjective. You know, some people can feel lonely when they have 50 people around them, and some people can feel completely socially fulfilled with only one good friend. It's, for me, what I'm starting to learn, and what I have learned since that video, is it's not necessarily a arbitrary number of people that you've got in your life. It's the quality of those connections and how fulfilled you feel by those connections as an individual. Because some people are extroverts and they want to be surrounded by people all the time, and that's where they get their energy from, and that's great. And then you've got introverts that are really content just to have one decent conversation in a week, and will spend the rest of their time doing activities on their own, and there's nothing wrong with that. Or you might be somewhere in the middle. I think all of us we're on a spectrum. We don't fit on one end or the other. I know there are times in my life where I'm more introverted and I'm more happy to do things on my own, and there are times in my life where I'm more extroverted and I enjoy being out and around people. So I think we all fit on a spectrum. But the point being is that loneliness is a big issue. It's a big topic because so many of us are experiencing it, and particularly people of my age, I guess, but also, like, I've noticed in the comments, people that are younger, that are in their 20s, and also people that are in their 50s, like, or 40s or 50s, where, you know, I would have thought that, I don't know, you become more content with your life, but and you get used to your own company more. I don't know, maybe that's wrong. You know, I worked in care for a long time, and actually loneliness is a massive issue for particularly the older generation, like, you know, 60s, 70s, 80s, because getting around is harder and all the rest of it. So I don't know, I think loneliness is just a much bigger issue than I'd ever anticipated. When I made that video, I had absolutely no idea how many people were going through the same thing. And I guess that's kind of the curse of loneliness, because you do feel lonely, you don't talk to other people, and when you do, it takes a long time for people to open up and be vulnerable. And it's then hard, you know, you wouldn't just meet someone and say, hey, I'm feeling lonely. And so because so many of us are feeling this emotion internally but not vocalizing it, not talking about it, people do turn to places like YouTube or the internet, because they want to know that people are going through the same things as them. And that's exactly what happened with me with that video. You know, I posted it not expecting to get much attention on that video at all, and I didn't actually for the first like year, maybe even 18 months, and then suddenly the algorithm just picked it up and it took off. And I think the reason it's taken off is because it's being served up to people who are feeling lonely and may not even be aware of it, but it's obviously an issue because they wouldn't be clicking on it if it wasn't of interest to them. So going back to like the format of these videos, I think part of the reason that video was so popular is not only because people are experiencing these feelings of loneliness, but it's the actual format of that video made it feel as if you were talking to someone, just an unedited, raw conversation. And I think that's so important for a lot of us that are feeling lonely and feeling vulnerable, that maybe we don't want to open up and talk to people straight away, and maybe actually having someone on YouTube that makes you feel like you are a part of their social lives, makes you feel like you're a friend of theirs. And I think if I can serve you in that way, if I can just talk unedited about whatever it is that comes to my mind on that day, maybe that will help people with their feelings of loneliness. Maybe it will boost people up in some way. And so, yeah, that's the main reason I want to change the format of this channel, is because I don't have time to create those like cinematic edits, the high production value stuff, but I do have time between driving around places to do this kind of stuff, just unedited, raw, just talking. And also another reason is that part of at least my social anxieties, my social fears, is that when I do talk, I feel like there's always this voice at the back of my head that's telling me that what I'm saying is shit, that like what I'm saying the other person doesn't want to listen to, doesn't want to hear, or my voice is weird, or like there's all sorts of just these voices in the back of my head that are trying to convince me to stop talking and to get away from the situation. And so I want to learn to be able to just talk, and I think this is a really good way of doing it. So yeah, if you've watched this video all the way through, I guess like thank you for a start, and I'd love to know what you think about my plans for the future of the channel. Like, would you prefer more cinematic stuff, or would you prefer something that's more raw and unedited and more regular? You know, I could maybe, if I really pushed it, even post a video like this daily, because I do have the time to do that. If I didn't have to edit, if I didn't have to worry about color grading, if I didn't have to worry about setting up the camera and getting to the right locations, like I could do something like this probably daily. And if people genuinely think that would help them, then I'll do it. But without feedback, it's really difficult to know if what you're doing is right. So yeah, let me know in the comments, because you know, it's not necessarily the views or the subscriber count that's kept me going on this channel for so long. It's just the sheer amount of comments. It's knowing that like so many people are out there in the world feeling the same sort of way. And also a lot of you have given some really helpful insights as well into like how they've helped deal with their own loneliness or their own issues. So the comments are what keeps this alive, is where I'm going with this anyway. I feel like I'm waffling now. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you soon in another video. Thanks.